Good morning. It's Dr. Bill Williams on the Influencers Podcast, coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. We're so glad you're here. It's a great day in Georgia. I hope it's a great day where you are. Let's bring in Stephanie Gosnell, founder of Nimble Mavens Marketing, right down the road from me up in Greenville, South Carolina. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello and good morning.
So glad you could join us.
Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime I can introduce to my audience somebody who's in the marketing consulting business, I think it's a win when we get to share information among ourselves. We're an audience of entrepreneurs primarily, and we're people who want to grow our business to a larger level, even scale up our business, not just have a mom and a pop shop. So you're involved in that. You've got a great company going on in Greenville. Tell us more about yourself and give us the origin story of your business.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for having me on today. I've been in marketing for about 18 years, and it all started when I was in college. I was actually studying pre-vet, but that was about the time that the magic eraser sponge came out. And I'm going to date myself, but I vividly remember those commercials and all the marketing around it. And it worked even for me in college. I went right out and bought it, and my walls were very clean. But it was that moment I was like, I want to do this. I think that I can encourage people to buy things and encourage people that they need these things. And that's kind of how it started. And from there, it just turned into a very long career in marketing, working with big businesses. Then I had another big moment after I had my first son. I'd been traveling for a really long time with the company I was with and quickly learned that wasn't going to work. So I made a move to a smaller business, and then I really found that I like working with those smaller businesses that really make an impact.
Yeah, being a corporate giant versus mom and pop has its benefits.
It definitely did. And that's where Nimble Mavens came from as well. Working with those small businesses, you have to be nimble. You have to be ready to make a change in a moment when something isn't going the way you expected it to. So we're a group of Nimble Mavens.
Nice. Very nice. My dad was a veterinarian, and he was in pre-dentistry before World War II, when he was going off to war as an Army sergeant. He came back and decided, after being a medic in the Army, he decided, maybe I'm going to go work on animals, not humans. So I identify with your pre-vet story.
Oh, I love animals almost as much as I love marketing, but I still do work with them via animal rescue. So
wonderful. So, everybody starts off with something that really teaches them a lesson. Tell us about a great failure story that you went through. What did you learn, and how did you recover from that?
Probably my biggest failure, I would say, is not advocating for myself enough when I was younger. I worked a few places for quite a while where I had great managers, but sometimes not the best. And when you're younger, sometimes you're okay with, okay, I did that work. My manager said they did it, and you just move on. It took me a while to learn that's not okay. As a manager, as a leader, you should be supporting your people. You should be lifting them up. So I was happy to say that I got out of that situation, and that person is gone as well. So it all kind of worked out. But overall, I don't want to put a negative connotation on failure, because a great quote I heard early on is success is not final and failure is not fatal.
There you go.
Every failure we experience is just a learning time, a learning moment where we can grow from it, reevaluate, and move forward and not let that happen again.
Yeah, I like the perseverance that you outlined, that your failures are not permanent obstacles. They're only temporary, and they're opportunities.
That they are.
So other people fail, and you observe them. With your experience of 18 years of seeing people try to do things, what are the reasons you've seen people actually fail?
Woo, that's a very long list. But let me kind of narrow it down. So the first one I would say is sometimes people make things too complicated. So when people want to craft their marketing strategies, they want to make sure that they're addressing every single tiny piece of what if this happens? What if that happens? And sometimes you can get stuck into analysis paralysis, where you're just over and over looking at these situations. The simpler it is, the better it's going to be. Start it off simple. As you learn more from your audience, then you can add in those other little pieces. And that takes me to my next one of not listening to your customers. So many brands I worked with have said, well, this is how we want to do it. And that's great. I fully support you and I'm going to help you get there. But what do your customers say? A lot of them say, well, we haven't really asked. And a lot of times when they did ask, they found out their customer base wasn't what they thought it was. And that provides a lot of insight. And you can do so much with that information. I mean, people pay thousands, if not more, for research. You have it at your fingertips just by asking your customers.
It's right there.
It is. And it's the best information possible because these are people that know your product. They know your website. They know your social media. They know it all. And then the last mistake I think companies make is thinking that marketing is unnecessary and that you don't need to do marketing.
Oh boy, that's the trouble one.
That's the big one. Even for e-commerce brands, your website, a great quote a former leader of mine said is, we're not selling products, we're selling pictures. So these pictures have to be amazing. And that's the truth. When your customer gets to your website, they have to pause. They have to see it and be able to see themselves in that image.
The worst thing that I notice is stock photos used to market. You could spot a stock photo from about 6 miles away. It means it's impersonal and I don't care.
And now so many people are, finding the few good stock photos that are out there and using them over and over again. So you're starting to see that even more in the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting to see the young people, totally diverse, standing around a table with awestruck looks about some product. It's just not the real world, Most people are not that awestruck over anything these days.
Exactly, which is sad in itself. But
Stephanie, tell us what motivates you at 18 years and going to keep pushing forward and working to make Nimble Mavens Marketing, the top brand in Greenville.
Well, my number one motivation is my family. I have 2 little boys, and I want to make sure that when they go out into the world, that it's a good place and that I've helped companies create that world for them. I think it's so much more now about the future. When I was in college or even just starting out as a marketer, I was all about having fun. I want to make sure that, I worked with companies that I liked. I went on fun trips, went to great events. And now it's really forward thinking. I want to work with brands that make a difference. I work with a lot of brands in the mom and baby space because they really are understanding their customer. And also because I'm that customer. It just kind of works.
You're in a niche that will never go away and that only a few can actually understand it as well as you do.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you for picking a niche. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't pick a niche that's something they can succeed in. Yep. You mentioned raising 2 boys in a good place. Who could pick a better place than Greenville, South Carolina, or where I live, Swanee, Georgia? 2 of the most renowned communities in America to grow up in.
So true.
At least
but
we
I
did
have to say, we don't like telling people about Greenville because we're full at this point.
We're full at this point. I know the feeling. I moved to Swanee 27 years ago. And for the next 2 years after I started my practice here, it was the #1 growth zip code in America for 2 straight years.
Wow.
Beautiful for a startup.
Yeah.
So it's continued to grow and top 10 list of communities to live in every year by some magazine or some publication. So yeah, I know how people gravitate towards excellence. Let's move on to the question of the top 3 success secrets that others can model from what you're doing at the Nimble Mavens Marketing.
Oh, awesome. Well, this kind of goes back to the biggest mistakes people make. So one of the big successes, look at your entire customer experience. And this actually leads me into a new offering that we're working on, is customer experience marketing, where we actually work with your entire team to look at every single customer touch point, because it all makes a difference. It makes a difference when your customers show up at your website or show up in your store. It makes a difference when they're actually making that purchase, that it's a smooth purchase. But then if they have a problem with it, reaching out to your customer service, even finding how to reach out to your customer service on your website. It all really combines. And to be successful, you have to think about every aspect of the customer experience. Also, do marketing. Don't think, I know AI is really popular right now, and AI is a great tool that can support marketers and really provide a wealth of information at your fingertips, but it still requires that human intervention. The AI bot does not know your customers in and out. They've never talked to them. They can read some things about them, but having that person that has actually spoken with your customers, that's really going to help filter out any information that AI gives you back that is not right. And then the last one of success is try again. You miss 100% of the shots that you never take.
There you go.
I'm a big Office fan.
Even a blind squirrel will get it right once in a while.
Isn't that the truth? And he's still around, so he's probably gotten it quite a bit.
I saw a video yesterday about an 8-year-old boy on a basketball team was being surrounded at the last second of the game by the other boys, and he was at half court. And instead of just throwing the ball down, being behind by 1 point, he threw the ball over his head backwards. And of course, it went in the bucket and they won. He didn't have a chance of it going in, but he still threw it. Mm-hmm. 2 points, 1 win.
And that's it. And that probably will never happen again for that kid, but he tried and it worked out. So keep trying. There's no reason not to. You know, my father taught me when I was younger, I could be whatever I wanted and I could do whatever I wanted as long as I was willing to put in the work. And I still feel that.
I agree. You know, always keep trying. I always remember Doug Flutie threw the bomb at the end of the game that went for like 70 yards and the guy caught it for the touchdown. And I always wonder in these football games, why don't people take the last 3 seconds and try to throw the bomb? I mean, it's only going to fall on the ground or it's going to, you know, be incomplete.
Exactly.
Or
it's not going to cost you any points. I mean, come on.
So what is the Nimble Mavens marketing motto?
You know, we're still working on the motto, I have to say. It's gone through some iterations, but the main thing is meeting your customers at the right time, at the right place, with the right message.
Right place, right time, right message.
Back to the basics.
Anybody would want to buy from you because you're so personable, you're local. What else would be a reason they would choose you?
Well, the number one reason, like I said, is we have got over 30 years of collective experience between myself and the other Nimble Mavens that I work with. I have a large network of freelancers with also significant amount of experience in all different industries. We all work together to make sure your company gets exactly what it needs, the support that it needs from us. Excellent. We offer lots of custom packages. Mm-hmm. So anything from overall strategy to email execution to social media, whatever it is that you need marketing, we are here to help you with that.
And most people have no clue about how to do it, and they need to outsource for sure.
They do.
Who's your ideal client?
Anyone at this time. Really, you know, I've got experience on B2B and the B2C side. So I really do enjoy working with small businesses, ones in the mom and child space, but overall, any company that is needing marketing help. If you're starting out and you don't know which direction to go, you don't know how to position your product to reach your customers, or if you're an established brand that feels like you're kind of losing traction, we can work together to create kind of an overhaul and really get you back to where you need to be.
Okay, so you do take in a larger audience of clients.
We do.
Now, how do you find the clients when you're doing the marketing for your own company?
To date, everything has been referrals. So it's working with one client and they connect us with another one. We are in a lot of different marketing groups as well. And so other marketers will recommend us when they can't provide the service that a client needs.
So it doesn't sound like you're just getting referrals. It sounds like you're doing guerrilla marketing.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of guerrilla marketing. So
you're putting yourself out and being feet on the ground, what I call high tech, soft touch.
That's very true. And Greenville, even though we're growing a lot as a city, it still does have a small town feel. So when you know one business owner, you end up meeting a lot of business owners. And when you help one, they want to share that with other business owners.
Well, it's good to be known. It's good to have a connection in the town that you're in, the community. Do you have anything that sets you apart that crushes the competition?
The number one thing that sets us apart is our willingness to work with our clients on exactly what they need. So I've worked with a lot of marketing agencies and I've worked for marketing agencies. And one of the things that always bothered me was a lot of time the agencies push what they want. They don't listen to what their client wants. And that's the biggest difference with Nimble Mavens. Like I tell our clients, listen more than you talk. Listen to your customers, listen to your suppliers, listen to your vendors, listen to everyone. Get as much information as you can. And that's what we do as Nimble Mavens. We listen more than we talk.
Sounds like being flexible is very important.
Definitely. Definitely. For a small business, I would say that's one of the top things, being flexible and communication.
You have products that you put out and offer people. What would be the name of the products?
Right now, we offer custom packages. So we offer consulting packages and also execution packages. Like I said, though, everything is a custom offering based on the client's specific needs, their timeline, as well as their internal resources.
So you're kind of like a doctor, like you examine, you make a diagnosis, you outline treatment plans as we do it, and you give options of plan A, B, or C. Never more than 3.
Yep.
Nobody wants more options than they could even understand.
That is so true. And then we also offer, that second opinion in-house through our other consultants.
Yeah, we got to diagnose it. And you have a prescription.
We do.
For success.
We do.
What online platforms do you prefer?
Oh, I have used so many. I would say probably my 2 platforms, and these are more company specific as opposed to marketing specific. Number 1 is Slack. I love Slack for communication. So many companies went remote. I was lucky enough to go remote in 2017. And I feel that communication is the number 1 area that you need to really focus on to manage a remote team and to keep everyone together. My Slacks have been always filled with lots of different channels, and it's a great resource. Also, just very quick. The second platform I love is Asana. Asana is an amazing project management tool that can also be used as your number 1 marketing tool. So take everything that you've got in your Google Sheets right now, put it into Asana. You can add dependencies, and Asana can really guide you through the whole process.
Excellent. Well, what do you value most about, say, Slack? What's the one key feature?
Honestly, the emojis. I love the GIFs, the videos, everything. In a remote environment, it's hard to create that community and to find that connection that you get when you go grab a drink at the cafeteria when you're on site. And Slack is a great way to do that if you're encouraging people to use it.
Nice. What about the one thing that's missing? I always want to know, what do you seek in a platform such as Slack?
The additional thing I think Slack could really do is create more of a collaboration tool for graphic designers. Something that you could almost have an instant whiteboard come up when you're having that meeting online, and just have that extra ad for working together with it. Because from the marketing side, from the design side, we don't have a ton of collaborative software. And that is something that Slack could definitely help with.
That's an opportunity right there for somebody to introduce you to something that has the extra benefits.
Yes, definitely. Please let me know.
Don't ask me to do that. I might do it. When you're talking about revenue and buying paid digital media, do you often ask your clients to invest in paid digital media?
Yes and no. So we look at the client's goals, their mission, their values, everything holistically, and then decide together if paid media is a strategy, is a channel that they should include in their strategy. The biggest pieces to it is you have to have, like we talked about earlier, a niche. You have to have a reason to advertise. I heard a stat a long time ago that, this is probably more now, but the average person scrolls a mile a minute on social media. So your ad has to stop that scroll. If you have the content, if you have the desire to make that attention-grabbing content, and you've got a product that can do it, then I would say yes. I wouldn't start with that though. The days of the Facebook ad just taking off and you generating millions of dollars just because of your meta ads have really gone down. I mean, I got to see it at the height when our targeting was on point. It's definitely gone down. Lots of changes in the industry. So it's definitely a maybe.
Yeah, we've changed our MO about how we observe and watch our media. Gone with the Wind was quite long when I was a boy. And then we kind of got into the Graduate, Dustin Hoffman, a little shorter movie, equally impactful to that generation. But MTV changed everything. Short, sweet, until TikTok came along that knocked it out of the box. And now it's shorter and sweeter, and maybe not sweeter.
Who knows? My TikTok is filled with feel-good stories. So I'm quite happy with how the algorithm is working for me. And, it's funny that you mentioned MTV, because I almost feel like there is a little bit of connection between the MTV days and TikTok. Because, when MTV first came out, it was music videos. And where do you get music videos anymore? Not on MTV. You're seeing 16 and Pregnant every 5 minutes. So, that's one of the other things I love about TikTok is you can see those little videos and people making their own and really giving awareness to those smaller artists.
Yeah, it's a different world out there.
It definitely is. But
you give your clients really good service, I know. What's an example of 5-star client experience?
Oh, let's see. My most recent client I worked with was a maternity brand and loved working with them. They were amazing. They had seen some great success previously with some ads, but weren't seeing the same success. So we worked on an overall strategy to really bring their marketing together and not just have it be, waiting on that one ad to take off. We created some sustainable revenue. And it was really, really fun working directly with the owner, and because she also was the designer. And that was just a great time. And I loved seeing how they've continued to grow.
It's good. It's good. I like to hear that. Good story. How do you convert clients to brand ambassadors that will refer to you, which is your number one marketing strategy?
Goes back to the last question, by providing 5-star customer service. really making sure that your customers are happy with your service, asking them, finding out what else you can provide, what else do they need, what areas do they not feel supported in. It goes back to a happy customer will tell two people, an unhappy customer will tell 10. Well, if they're happy, those two customers will then become new customers of mine.
Yeah, you finish up every service you deliver saying, did I deliver what we agreed on? Did I leave out anything? What can I do to make it even better? You don't just drop people off at the end of your service and say, you're done. You make sure they're satisfied. And if they're not, you keep working until they are, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. I worked for a long time on large events. And at the end of the event, we would always send out a survey to ask everyone, the people that participated in the events, the people that attended them, the people that worked them, what can we do better? What did you like? What didn't you like? If you're not improving every year, you're not going to continue to grow. And if you're not changing every year, you're not going to grow, because the only thing that is constant in this world is change. So you got to embrace it.
Yep. Well, I'm always grateful for the clients who tell me the truth so I can get better. What are you grateful for today, Stephanie?
I'm grateful for finding my own version of having it all. It really, that term is so loaded, especially with moms. You say, can you hardly have it all? And for me, I've found that my all is being able to still work with clients, still do the marketing, help brands grow and expand, and also be there to pick my kids up from school. Mm-hmm. And be able to spend, 3 hours creating the best Valentine's Day gifts and, that the kids are going to send in. For me, that's having it all. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I'm most grateful that everything that led me to where I am today allows me to do this.
You heard it here on the Influencer Podcast. You can have it all. It's not a secret. It's not stolen away, hidden in a closet. You can find it in Greenville, South Carolina. You can find it here in Suwanee, Georgia. Nimble Mavens Marketing is all about helping your clients, I'll bet, have it all.
That is the truth.
How do you start every day? What's your secret?
Well, my secret is with a hug and a kiss from my 3-year-old. And then, of course, being jumped on by my 6-year-old.
Love it.
But it's, I start every day by waking up, taking a breath, being thankful that I woke up, thankful that I'm able to spend the time with my kids and still do the work that I love.
Yep. I like the home office concept. Do you find you have to go to the office, or you always can do it right from your home?
I do it all from my home. That's the great thing. I even keep my Peloton in my office. So, the break to work out, don't even need to leave the office. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but.
So you've got a treadmill right over there, huh?
I do.
There you go. Mine is in the basement. You know what? The distance between my office up here on this floor to the basement, it's a long way.
Yeah.
It should be in your office.
I was going to say, I bet that doesn't get tons of use during the week. So,
I found that I'm not good myself at going downstairs, but I'm very good at showing up when I said I'll show up with an accountability partner to walk in the park. And so that's our MO, is we go walking in the park about every sunny day. Every day it's not raining, we're walking.
And you find what works for you. My big exercise of the week is I take my kids to the trampoline park every Saturday, and I get out there and jump with them. So that's my exercise, and theirs too. That's
not easy job. I've had a trampoline in my life since I was 6 years old, and we kept one while my kids were growing up. So I know trampolines. I know what you're doing. That's a lot of work.
Well, they love it, and it helps keep me in shape. a little.
Absolutely. If you can do a double somersault, then you can impress me.
I don't think I 10 years of gymnastics, but I can still probably do a single one. But
How about overcoming challenges? What do you do when they show up?
this one goes back to what my dad said growing up: hard work. You just got to keep trying. There are no problems. There's only puzzles that we have yet to solve. So
Jigsaw puzzles.
exactly. So when a challenge comes, you sit back, you analyze the challenge. I always go back to my SWOT analysis for anything, and then you figure out your plan of attack. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time. Sometimes you have to pull in some additional resources. Reach out to your village. But for me, I'm a planner. And so as soon as something comes up that is unexpected, that I'm going to have to figure out, I go back to make a plan. And then once I have a plan, it doesn't seem overwhelming. It doesn't seem like a challenge. That's when it really gets to that puzzle state.
Excellent. Excellent. I know it's so sad when you get a jigsaw puzzle and open the box and put it together and there's one piece missing.
That's the worst.
What are you going to do now in your life? You got 18 years of doing it, building the Nimble Mavens marketing. What are you going to be doing for the next 18 years?
I hope that I get to keep doing this. I hope that I keep getting to work with amazing companies that want to reach amazing customers. And I hope that at the same time, I can continue to pick my kids up from school and be the room mom and, do all those fun Pinterest things for your kids.
That's the future.
So,
yeah.
I hope so.
Well, what about the past? You can look back at your life and say, I did it right. I did it wrong. I did it good. But what would you tell your 20-year-old self if you could give them advice?
The first thing I would do is tell my 18-year-old self not to go to pre-vet, just to go straight into marketing, because there's some stuff I learned in my pre-vet classes that I wish I didn't know at this point.
Like, chemistry doesn't matter in marketing.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. But I think I would go back and tell myself, just keep doing what you're doing. I feel that everything that I did led me to where I am today. So if I was to go back and change any of it, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met my amazing husband. I wouldn't have my two beautiful children. I wouldn't be in Greenville. I mean, we moved around a lot when I was younger. And when we got here, right after high school, my parents said they're moving to Indiana. And I said, I'm not. I'm going to stay in the South. I like it here.
The South shall rise again.
One day.
I think we win in the game. People are moving to the warmer climates, the better economic states. So I think we're rising as a group.
I think so. I've actually seen that South Carolina is now getting to be one of the big ones people are moving to. So, yeah.
It's interesting what's going on. Your living mentor right now, who would that be?
My dad, definitely. My dad, I am very lucky. They live very, very close to my house. And so I get to spend a lot of time with them, but my father spends almost all his time with my kids. And it is so amazing to get to watch that. Also, my father had an amazing work ethic.
Nice.
My father started with a company out of college and never left. The company was bought and moved. He started as an accountant, ended as president. I called him up one day when I was still living in South Carolina and he was in Indiana. And I said, Dad, I'm leaving this job and I'm going to another one. And they sent me all these forms and talk about this. What do I need to do with this? And he goes, Steph, I'm really sorry, but I've never left a job. So I've got nothing for you. You don't hear that today, And so I always value that. And I did an internship with him once, and going out into the plant, he was in manufacturing. All the guys, my father and I look alike. So they instantly know who I was. And they had the most amazing things to say about him. A lot of them even left South Carolina and followed him to Indiana. And I'm like, that's a big deal. But it made me so proud as a daughter. And I really hoped that when I'm, that I am now, that's the kind of leader I wanted to be. I wanted everyone that worked for me to look up to me, to value my leadership, because they know that I had their backs, like my dad did.
Super, super. What do you want to be remembered for when it's all said and done, Stephanie?
For always going the extra mile and wanting to make a change. Those are the biggest things. I want to be remembered for the impact that all of my work does. Everything that I leave in the world for my kids.
Super duper. I think you're on the way. I think you've got a really good shot at being remembered. A happy face, a joy to interact with. How can we support you, and how can people reach you? Particularly, give us your website.
Yes, my website is nimblemavens.com. On there, you can reach out to me. Our email, hello@nimblemavens.com. Please, if you have any needs, if you just want to chat and just kind of figure out if you need consulting, reach out. We are always here to help you. I've got a whole team that is just ready to jump on.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us all that. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, and happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
Good. I didn't even acknowledge it, but this is February 14th, so it's special for all of us with a big heart.
Yes.
How can you express your feeling about being on the Influencer Podcast, being one of our esteemed guests?
I am beyond honored to be here. So I've worked with influencers and in the influencer space for a really long time. So really, really appreciate the opportunity to talk more about it. And this has just been a great experience overall.
Oh, thank you. We look for people who are definitely influential in their community, making a difference. And so you're definitely on the track to be one of our top influencers. So thank you for that. And South Carolina is now represented well.
Thank you very much.
I want to give you the last word before we jump into some things about what we're doing. You can speak to the audience, and I'll come back when you're done.
So, well, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about Nimble Mavens marketing services, about our new customer experience consulting options, please reach out. We'd be more than happy to help you. Our email address is hello@nimblemavens.com, and we will get back to you right away.
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing that. It's a pleasure that you've been on the Influencers Podcast. A lively, fun interview, and I know our audience is already making comments that this is one of the more outstanding lessons in marketing. A lot of good meat, juicy, tender meat for those who like steak. It was well done. It was also a rare opportunity. Now,
wonderful. I guess people probably have, steak on the mind, everyone going out for Valentine's tonight.
Tonight's going to be a big night in the restaurant business.
It definitely will.
You can find Stephanie's Influencer Podcast episode on the Influencer Podcast website, drbillwilliams.tv. All 150 odd sessions will be there, and I'll add Stephanie's on there later today. You can also find out about our extremely exciting AI technology. We give away a lot of things, Stephanie, that are very useful for marketers. So I might bring up something like OTrim is our product that makes short URLs that are customized to whatever you want to say, like Dr. Bill W is my custom one. If you go there, it will introduce you to my entire suite of products. OTrim will make a custom URL that's trackable, create a QR code. And we give these away for free. So anybody who wants to use it can have trackable URLs and trackable QR codes. Not everything is free in life, but that is. We have tracking devices for Google Analytic type processes that are easier, better, than cheaper than Google Analytics, for instance. And we've got OConnect, which is better and much more cost effective than people like Zoom or WebEx, things like that. So many products available for free, and all of them have free trials if they're not free totally. So I want to offer that to the audience. Stephanie, it's good to connect with you. Thank you for joining us. And we'll be seeing all of you guys in the audience on the next episode of the Influencers Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bill.
You're welcome.